So, after a long break, not having sessions on a Wednesday night, I thought that I will just give a kind of a theoretical knowledge or refreshing on the concept of the practice that normally we perceive things in a way that whenever we come across with our senses, then we perceive it in a way that is permanently like that. And then with that we take it as a pleasant, if that is pleasant, and not able to see it in its true nature, we evaluate into wanting to have it and not wanting, not wishing it to be there. So with that, in a way we are creating a miserable life for ourselves. So that the practice is to see that things that come across with our senses and anything that comes through, and all the that emotions and feelings that we generate, actually if we are mindful, then we can see it and we can perceive it correctly in a right way, so that we will take that as the momentary coming and going. With that momentary coming and going, the evaluation on that will be less and less, but we take it as the thing that is a natural process that happens, and we will be able to disconnect with that. But to understand that level, obviously we need to practice, and that practice, according to Buddhism, we have two types of meditation, as we know. One is the concentration meditation, and the second is the vipassana meditation, or insight meditation. And obviously samatha, or the concentration meditation, is something that we have to work simply to gain the control over this mind that normally runs away with the senses whenever we see, hear, smell, touch and taste, like that. So rather than letting it to float away along with those sense inputs, we able to stop there and remaining ourselves within the kind of our own control, that whether to go on or not. Is basically to have the concentrated mind. We can decide whether to be disturbed or undisturbed. But that is, again, as we know, it's just for the temporary. It's a temporal a freedom from those invades or those distractions. Whereas the practice of insight or the vipassana meditation is something that we are not running away or we are not discarding, but the ability to see it in a very distinctive way, in a differently, in a various way, that things that we perceive, whether that is a sense put or any emotions or feelings, actually that is for the temporal or the impermanent, constantly changing. And that's actually created with the so many other factors, and only then that is arose. And with that temporal or momentary arising, once we perceive it, what happens is that we will have the right understanding on it, and with that having a right understanding, we will have a less evaluation, or we will reduce evaluating into that it should stay longer. I wish it is with me for a longer period of time, I want it to be with it, like that. So there will be a less desire. So when there is a less desire, there will be less trouble. Like me, I'm having 2 days of a trouble because of the desire of wishing to have a latest iPhone. Wishing to have a latest iPhone, and I was called, and I thought that it was a genuine call, and I signed it up, and eventually found out that is a scam. So with that scam, so that's the whole story of this scam is my desire, wanting to have. So with that, I'm still dealing with that one, but I don't know how many days it will take. So, but hopefully, eventually, I can resolve that problem. So that's the whole miserable things will not happen if we have this right perception and a less desire, and this is basically a lesson that we learn from it. So that's why we practice basically seeing and perceiving things in a right way, so that we will have a less desire, and not only less desire, but also we will have a less attachment. And with that less attachment, it is not just lessening these negativities, but also if we are mindful enough, then within our hearts and minds, what happens that there will be there are 4 principles that I used to say that will generate, or slowly that develops within our minds and our hearts. So that is the 4 Brahma Viharas, and that is the loving kindness, compassion, and sympathetic joy, and ability to keep ourselves in a balanced state or equanimous mind. So if you want to know that your insight of the perceiving things, whether it is rightly or wrongly, and the action that we are taking, right or wrong, and then checking with these 4 principles, that how much have I developed of this loving kindness to oneself and then to others. And if we genuinely, without thinking of cultivating or without thinking of loving kindness, but in our heart is the moment when it comes, it automatically starts to sprout and feel this kind of a jelly, or it's like a sponge. You feel like that. This willing to help or willing to support, kind of like that. It comes automatically in our hearts. When you cultivate that kindness and compassion, and it automatically sprouts, then actually you are having a right understanding and you are on the right track. And furthermore, when somebody gains some good things or a success in their life, again checking whether you manage to rejoice or not, rejoice their success or not, and which is again known as a sympathetic joy. Actually, I like the word called joyous, joys of others' success, and this is actually emotional balance too. And if we can maintain that emotional balance of others' success and ability to rejoice, then what happens that we also gaining the positive mindset too. Okay, and further on, the last one, which is the equanimous mind. Here, equanimous mind doesn't mean that I don't want, I don't care, so I don't know, I don't want to know. Just leaving it aside or putting under the carpet like that. Not like that, but it is like a clear understanding and ability to see it in its true existence and perceiving it in a true nature. And with that, so we just let it, okay, this much I can do, this much I have done, and this much it can't be done. So the ability to let it be. So it's like not doing and saying and keeping your mind equanimous, but you are doing at most that you can do, and then eventually if you can't do it, then just you have to let it be. So that is the equanimous mind according to the Buddhist principles, and which again with the practice of an insight meditation, it comes into the point without thinking of, your mind comes in that state that I have done my best, now this is the time to say okay or stop there. So it comes, and then when it comes, automatically it brings a smile in your face when you feel happy, and then when things happen or not happening, you'll be smiling at yourself too. I have done my best and this is what's happening. So there will be no disturbances in your mind. So mind is very stable, and yet you're very aware and alert. And with that aware and alertness, you're also enjoying. So in a way, you are having this first Buddha nature there. So the word the Buddha, that's why it means one who knows, right? And one who awake, and also ability to enjoy the life. And this is why the insight meditation is something that we can take with us in everyday life, and we can practice it in everyday life. So with that, then the practice is embodied in you, and then you are there with the practice all the time. So that's why this is the insight meditation that we are trying to cultivate, so that we can use it in our day-to-day life. And obviously, in order to cultivate this insight, we have to go through from the practice of a basic practices of calming the mind, at least of a soundly calming the mind. With that soundly calming the mind and having the awareness of it, then gradually we can develop. And there's a method to calm the mind. Obviously, we have to observe, or we have to adapt one object of a meditation, and which mostly breath related, which is the quite easy one to practice with. And this breath, we can, here we practice in two ways: breath in your belly or in your nose. So whichever you feel comfortable with, you can use it and practice it and work with that. And after you become familiar with, that means you're also gaining the calmness of your mind, and with that calmness, a peaceful state and still mind, and then gradually learn to perceive things in a very different way, and eventually we can cultivate further insight, knowledges and understanding, the true knowledge of the nature. So with this reflection, let's practice. So comfortably sitting, bring your attention to the moment here and now. And relax the body and mind. So feel the entire body presence here. And embracing yourself, a presentness of yourself sitting here and now. Nothing to worry, nowhere to go. Just be here and now, watching the entire body sitting here and embracing the presenceness of yourself. Take away any perceptions of any practices or anything that you want to do. Just be here and now. Just feel the entire body sitting here. And naturally, what's happening within this body as you are feeling, observing it. So first, checking yourself, physical comfort. Is there any tension? Just let them relax, let them release. And naturally, without any preconcept or perceptions, observing the bodily phenomena that functions with the breath as it comes and goes. In most cases, we can observe this breath in our belly as it is a coarse movement taking place, or a subtle touch of the breath in our nose. So adapting which point is more visible and comfortable to observe. And working with that object for some times to gain the stillness of the mind. Either just to feel it or following it, or consciously making it, making your mind to be aware of it. So settling down, grounding yourself on the object that you have adopted, and try to settle yourself down. And whenever any other distraction comes, at that time, acknowledge, observe, note, and let go and back to the object again.